My favorite part in Jumanji is the part where Robin Williams comes back to the house and he got a beer and he goes, "What year is it?" And they tell him and he goes, "Ah!" and screams.
What's going on?
All right, let's start this officially.
Let's start
Dearly
it.
beloved, we are gathered here today to witness a podcast.
Oh no.
Welcome to Nerdly the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Joseph. I'm here with Brad and Lori and William, and we're gonna do a Nerdly. Welcome. Happy New Year. Roll intro. For William. Thank you, Joseph. Welcome to Nerdly Kingdom. I am Brad, aka Toto. I'm here with Lori, aka Loriarty.
Hi.
I'm also here with William Bell, aka William Bell, aka William Bell, or to those select few, William Bell.
Hello.
And before we start, I just want to thank everyone for listening to this. For whatever reason, I can't understand why anybody's listening to these, but thank you. If you like these, go like and share and subscribe and rate whatever is relevant to the platform you're on, because I still haven't quite figured them all out.
And force your friends to watch it too.
Yes, that actually helps more. Yes, tell everyone about us and say good. Well, if you're going to say good things, I guess if you're going to say bad things.
Say things.
Say things.
I was about to say the same thing.
And more importantly, thank you to those few people in Japan that started listening. That's something. Welcome to the nerddom, guys. That's, if you can understand us. That's so weird. Like, how did they find us? And all of the vast interwebs, the people in Japan found us. But yeah, thanks. That's all the announcements I think I got. At least that's all I wrote down on the notes I wrote down after I lost my notes, which are in my wallet, so I don't even find them.
That's his excuse. He actually didn't do notes at all.
I did. I wrote them down while I was working today.
I didn't do notes, but I have a grocery list that I made.
Sure, that's great. So anyways, I guess
Let's talk about his grocery list instead.
Let's talk about what's in William's refrigerator.
Does anyone have anything newsy they want to start with? I got nothing. I haven't been paying attention to what's going on in the
have
world.
one thing. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday I read about this, but AMC is talking about charging tickets or charging specific seats. So it's like depending on what seat you get when you get a ticket.
Oh, like charging more for better seats?
More for every seat is a different price or something. I don't know.
They would actually have to start doing like assigned seating kind of stuff. Like
I know, that's what's weird.
I only know one theater that does that.
I've been to a theater in Atlanta that did that.
The one in Huntsville
granted,
does.
It was a really nice.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Oh yeah, the one in Huntsville does.
Like to have good seats, to charge more for good seats, you have to have good seats.
Like both
Our
theaters.
local AMCs are garbage.
Very garbage.
Both theaters I've been to that actually charge by the seat have like real chairs with like reclining and all that.
At the Monaco, if you can go on the balcony, they have food trays in recliners, and I swear there's a massage button
Monaco
on there
had
somewhere.
the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in.
Dude, I love the Monaco because the one time we went to the Monaco, we were so upset because like, oh, we got here late, we have to sit in the front, and then the front they full on recline all the way back. I took a nap. I didn't watch the movie.
That's what we did. We saw Les Miserables there.
Oh yeah.
And we know it was me, Brad, and no, not Brad. You weren't there.
No.
Me, Josh, Lori, and Ian.
I was
went
about to
with
say,
Josh the
I know
second
that
time.
I went.
Yeah, and we sat not like right at the bottom, but close to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I complained about it until I sat down and my seat went all the way back. And then I was like, oh, this is nice. Never mind.
See, the theater I went to in Atlanta, because it was like the only place that was showing Kingsman, I was there for a convention. The seats literally had like buttons, and you push the button to bring it back and to raise up the thing. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
The point is our AMCs don't have that. So if they start charging more just because you're not sitting in the front, then or are the front better? What are they charging more for? The back seats?
I don't
the
know.
makeout seats in the back, or like right in the middle?
I feel the middle would be the most
It's gonna be like a
expensive if
bullseye.
they
The
were
middle's
trying
gonna
to
cost
do it.
more.
Just-
The thing is, like my AMC, they can't even charge more for good seats. There aren't good seats. They can just charge less for crap seats.
Really, it's like our AMCs are just old Carmike, except for rebranded.
Yeah, that's actually
Mm-hmm.
the
So
point.
it's like we don't get like whatever premium AMC
The only
services.
one that's really, really nice is the one in like Birmingham.
The one in the Summit and the one next to the Galleria are both very nice.
That one, the one with like the really cool things on the outside of it.
Those two are nice. That one has
So
IMAX.
they're going to
theater.
charge more for seats. They're going to ban Movie Pass. AMC's cool, guys.
However, they
I
do
cannot
show more movies
stand
than.
Yeah.
McWayne Center IMAX screens. The Dome theaters, don't like them.
Okay. What made that?
I brought up that the AMC next to the Galleria had an IMAX theater, but they have an actual screen and not a dome theater like McWayne Center has. I like the screen. I don't like the dome. It bothers me.
I saw a Harry Potter movie in the dome.
I watched The Dark
It's
Knight
weird.
Rises in the dome.
It's weird.
And
I've
the Polar
never
Express.
watched
The Polar Express, a movie that wasn't even meant for IMAX. It looked awful.
Well, to be fair, it looked awful before.
I was gonna say
it was
that
in
was
an
not
IMAX
known
theater.
for its animation quality.
It was one of the very first feature-length. It and that Final Fantasy movie, I believe, were the first feature-length.
Spirit, what is it? Spirit Within?
Yeah. Weren't those two like the first like real motion capture?
I don't know, but the Spirit Within did a lot better than the Polar Express did.
That's alright.
Because the Polar Express
there's some
creeps
scenes,
people out.
There's some scenes in Polar Express that are really good, and then there's some scenes that are just bad.
I haven't seen it. But
It's
yeah,
a good movie, but it has some weird uncanny valley.
What else we got?
Ow!
Just break my whole room.
I'm just
Cool.
gonna break the entire room. I read rumors that The Incredibles 2 may follow Elastigirl more than it follows Mr. Incredible.
That'd be great.
I'd be down for it.
I have no opinion.
Well, it's like apparently there was
I do
a
have a
quote.
headache.
The voice actress of Elastigirl said that Helen's appetite for adventure comes to the forefront, whereas she was driven to become Miss Incredible out of necessity, where she went into it to save her husband. I think this time she really meets her own ambition head on. The ambition of being an adventurer is something that we can get to explore.
That's nice.
And I think it also has to do a lot with the fact that female heroes are starting to really...
I'm
I'm
for
down
it.
for
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
I'd be cool
That
with
sounds
it.
exciting.
Sure. I have no opinion on the matter.
Well, I mean, I
like.
I saw it and I'm stoked about The Incredibles. I love the first one.
I'm at the point where I have any movie that's going to come out, I'm like, I'm not going to like that movie, because if I go in with that expectation, every movie that's going to let me down will just be like, yeah, I expected that.
We'll get into it more, but that's how I was with The Greatest Showman, because reviews for it were like, apparently so many people were bashing it. So I went in thinking it wasn't going to be that great.
I have a whole story
God.
about not expecting stuff with Greatest Showman.
My thing is, I'm never fully satisfied seeing a film in theaters because I have this thing where my hearing's fucked up.
What?
Huh? No, the thing is, I cannot, when people are talking to me, I cannot distinguish individual words. A lot of the times it all just blurs together. So I hear sound, but I can't make comprehensive understanding of the words they're saying.
Why do I have you on this podcast? It's awful.
Which is even worse this is why I watch movies with subtitles on. So I can get a full
You
comprehension
can
of
get
what's going
them,
on.
like, closed caption glasses.
I always forget to, but then I'm like, I don't want to wear those.
Closed
Like, a lot of the
caption
times,
glasses.
depending on what movie I'm seeing, I can understand a lot of things. A lot of things I can't.
That's how it works, I think.
But it just depends on... It depends on accents. It depends on how fast someone delivers dialogue. So it's like a majority of the time in theaters, I'm watching a movie going like, I don't know what's going on during this scene, but whatever. So, like... I watch a movie in theaters and be like, oh, that was all right.
Oh, it's like
And then I'll watch it again later.
that time I watched that Wolverine movie.
Oh, yeah. I had a version of the Wolverine movie on my laptop, but it didn't have subtitles for the Japanese parts.
I was very confused because
And
half
so-
of that movie is in Japanase.
And it's great, though, because...
you stay just as confused as Wolverine the whole movie.
does. And it's so great. Because we were just like, what's going on in this scene? It was really funny.
It's an interesting way to watch it.
I have to watch, for the longest time I had to watch Sherlock with subtitles because I could not understand Benedict's voice. Because
Neither
it
could
was
the
so,
people that were doing the subtitles.
because it was so like deep and just kind of like this rumble. And I'm like, I can't understand a word he's saying. Like, he's talking too fast. So I still have to watch Sherlock with subtitles.
Watch the first season of Torchwood. Once you're able to understand the Cardiff people, you can understand any British person.
I met Gareth David Lloyd at Dragon Con, and I went up and shook his hand, and I was just like, hi, because I just wanted to meet him. And he was like, oh, I'll be right back, da, 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 da. And I was just like, I don't understand a word he just said to me, but okay.
I saw Inherent Vice. A majority of the movie is very quiet dialogue, people talking quietly to each other, whispering. And on top of that, the whole movie is confusing to begin with. So I was double confused because I was like, not only do I know what's going on the story-wise in this movie, I have no idea what the characters are talking about either.
How did we start talking about this?
William in theaters.
But how did we start talking about that?
Fuck if I know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're in something news related.
Okay.
We're still in the first part with the news stuff. We got anything else?
Moving on.
Moving right along.
Hot Toys has released their Leia figure, and if you guys don't know what Hot Toys is,
I was about to say I have no idea what
Hot Toys.
Hot Toys releases is it 12-inch or 18-inch?
Expensive, detailed.
Yeah, they're highly detailed dolls, basically dolls.
Sorry, action figures.
No, these things move more like a Barbie than they do your little G.I. Joes. They're almost dolls.
I would love a Leia with karate chop.
G.I. Joes are pretty much Barbies.
But they're really hyper detailed. Like, they almost look like the actor. I literally have seen Google searches of different characters and the Hot Toys show up. But they've released the Leia one. She's super pretty, but she looks kind of young in it. They didn't quite make her as old as she is. And I don't mean that insulting.
Which Leia is it?
It's Leia for the new
Last
movie.
Jedi?
Yeah, for Last Jedi.
They should have had them make that Emma Watson toy. You ever see the one?
No.
Man, that one. You ever see that for Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, I did.
Not a pretty
bad
toy.
Beauty and the Beast doll.
Very
Hot Toys. Oh my god. While y'all talk, I'm just gonna look it up.
I got nothing.
I got nothing. We just want to talk about
new X-Files is about to come out. And it's gonna be
they are making another season?
Yeah, and this season is coming out January 3rd on Fox, and it's actually going to be falling on the 25th anniversary of the show.
I didn't watch the new season, but I heard it was garbage.
Yeah, that's kind of Paul's opinion of it too, and trust me, he would know.
I've heard a lot of people haven't been a big fan. I've
just because
only watched bits and
I
pieces.
think it was
of
a marketing
X-Files.
thing because it was supposed to be we're here to answer the questions you had. It's it didn't answer anything. It just raised more questions.
I love the show to some point. I like the first couple seasons.
I've seen a few episodes randomly.
I've seen the first movie, but I don't remember it. I remember the second movie.
That the one with the black goo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's not wrinkled enough, that's all it is.
Yeah, and it's I don't mean that insulting.
Oh, yeah.
It's I want to see Leia the way Leia was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still a gorgeous toy.
Yeah, it's a nice doll.
And you can own one for probably $200-something.
But
totally worth it.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I remember a lot about the second movie.
I don't know.
But I don't remember
The only
anything.
time I've watched X-Files was late at night when I was in college, when I should have been doing homework. X-Files would come on intermittently with the original Twilight Zone.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
That's a fun little marathon.
Yeah, and I've seen so many episodes of the original Twilight Zone because I flunked out of college.
I still have issues trying to
It's also
watch
why I'm so good at Rock Band.
because X-Files scared me so much as a little kid that even now there's just kind of that background feeling. Oh my god.
All right.
Moving on to the next news. Anyone else got news?
Newsy. No, I got nothing.
News.
And Last Jedi news, Lin-Manuel Miranda was trying to stay away from spoilers, and someone just randomly sent him a picture of shirtless Kylo, and come to find out they sent it to a wrong number. So have you ever got a number so wrong that you sent a text to Tony winner Lin-Manuel Miranda of a shirtless Kylo Ren?
Wow, that's I suppose anything's possible. Just text a random number right now, see what I get. Okay, so things to talk about. You saw you two actually have seen The Room.
Yes.
I have not seen it when I was in a sober enough state to remember much more than "Hi, doggy." So, and you saw The Disaster Artist with
James Franco.
That is the name I was looking for. Yep, and other people. I'm assuming they're in
James
it
Frank,
too.
yeah.
And he just plays every character.
Yeah, James
That
Franco
would have been a
plays everyone.
movie, man.
Like an Eddie Murphy movie.
No, it's funny that
Sorry, that was me.
Tommy Wiseau's performance in The Room is famous for being one of the worst of all time, and yet James Franco is nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actor for pretty much replicating that. And replicating the man himself. But
the Hollywood
he does a fantastic job. This is the only movie I've ever seen where James Franco has just completely disappeared into a role.
Really?
Yeah. Like he really does become Tommy Wiseau, and it's very impressive. All the voice, the mannerisms, the accent, it's all just perfect. There may be like one or two times where it's kind of overdone a little bit, but other than that, throughout the whole movie, it's just.
What is the movie about? Like,
it's about
I don't get it.
It's really about.
It's based on the book.
It's based on the book, which is more about Dave Sestero's friendship with Tommy Wiseau than it is really about the making of. And the movie kind of follows that same thing. It follows their friendship, how they meet, their journey together into Hollywood, how they make The Room together. Just ultimately, it kind of. What's that?
They're shooting off fireworks outside, or someone's getting shot. I'm gonna hope.
Welcome to America, where it's not New Year's yet, but we're still gonna blow stuff up.
But
have to deal with it.
Yeah, the movie's basically just about the two of them. It's pretty much it. The movie takes, because Tommy Wiseau is so popular for being known, being this eccentric meme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the movie more or less acts as this is a real human being. This guy has real emotions. He's kind of weird, but he's a person who's gone through struggles and stuff. So it's that was one of the biggest things I read about people worrying about the movie leading up to it, was that it's basically just going to be a meme movie. Capitalizing on how popular The Room is, but it's really not. It really does a great job of humanizing Tommy and showing
because he's such a mystery. Like,
he really is.
It's like even
and they talk about that a whole lot in the movie too.
He never truly mentions where he's from. He never truly mentions his age.
Yeah.
I think on Colbert he finally mentioned where he was from.
Jimmy Kimmel, I believe. Yeah.
He was on. Was it? Because I could have swore he was on Colbert.
I think it was Kimmel. Well, he may have announced it on both, because I know Kimmel was the first one. Because James Franco
may have been
flipped
Kimmel.
his shit when.
Yeah, and Tommy Wiseau finally mentioned where he's from, and they literally just both lost it.
Yeah, and but yeah, there's a funny scene where he's picking up Greg when they're moving to LA for the first time, and his mom's coming out to meet Tommy, and he's looking at him, talking to him. She's like, "How old are you?" And he goes, "I'm Greg age," and she goes, "You're 19." And the mom goes, "I just turned 14." He goes, "Oh, happy birthday." It's really great. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I was dying when they were showing the scenes of them shooting the scenes in The Room, and then at the premiere when it's showing the recreated scenes they did, and then before the end credits roll, it shows those scenes side by side with the scenes from the actual movie.
Yeah,
and it's just fantastic.
It's weird because I literally thought that The Room was a 90s cult film.
Oh, I see. This is early 2000s.
And then I looked and it's 2004. I was like, what?
Why is it getting... Or why are we just finding out about it now?
What, The Room?
Yeah.
I've known about it for a long time.
I haven't. It's just now, to me, it's just now been a thing. It's big.
I've known about it for a bit because we went to the movies and Fandango, this was years ago, Fandango was advertising, showing The Room in theaters, and I was with William, and William lost it. He was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "I don't know what this
it's fun
room
seeing
is."
William do that complete 180 shift and start freaking out.
And you're just like, I have no idea what he's freaking out about because this is too underground.
But no, I found out about The Room because they did a Adult Swim on one year for April Fool's Day. Their entire block throughout the whole night, they just played that movie.
Oh my god.
And that's where I first heard of it. But I really didn't get into it until a few years later. And I watched a few scenes on YouTube and was like, oh, this movie's so bad, but it's so so
After I finished
hypnotizing,
it, I
pulls
felt-
you in.
I felt
say
I
so.
had like awoken to a next level of something.
It's a
Stay
fun
woke.
bad movie. Like it's a bad movie, but it's
Stay
just
woke.
fun to watch.
It was something.
If you say so. So, we've seen movies, William.
Yeah.
I don't know what your problem's been, but we went to go see movies. Actually, before I even talk about that,
I've seen a few movies this week, just not in theater.
just not any new movies that are.
I've been watching movies on Netflix. I watched this movie called Bernie with Jack Black. I watched Ace Ventura again. I watched this movie called While We're Young. I watched some episodes of Futurama.
I want to watch Black Mirror while we're talking about Netflix stuff.
I watched
yeah.
Bender's Big Score.
That's a good one. Do you ever think about like before Bender's Big Score, he was like, I think he mentioned he was like 4 years old, and after Bender's Big Score, he's like 100 billion years old now.
It's funny because I watched Bender's Big Score on Christmas Eve, and I had been drinking eggnog rum all night, so I was really drunk when it got to the part where they sing in the alley.
What a great tradition.
And a lot of jokes sneak up on me that I forget about. And so when they're in the alley, Fry's like, what do we have left to do? Or we have nothing left to do now except maybe sing. And Farnsworth goes, oh, I'd rather kill myself. I died laughing. I was just like buckled over, just because it just caught me off guard. It was so funny.
All right.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Me either. So I'm just gonna go into the next thing.
You can cut that out if you want. I just wanted to talk
Black
about
Mirror, the new season's out, and I haven't watched any of it.
I've watched
but
2 episodes of Black Mirror. It's on my to-do list.
that.
It's like I've read what the new episodes are about, and I
Phil?
don't remember now to be able to talk about it, but it sounded cool.
Philip DeFranco keeps telling me to watch it.
You specifically?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just me.
He's-
Texting Brad, you gotta watch Black Mirror.
And he says it in like his videos, but only Brad can
Brad.
hear
Yeah,
him
but
say
he does it in his Alex Jones voice. You gotta watch the Black Mirror. I want to watch because I have YouTube Red. I've watched the first couple episodes and they're really interesting. It's called Ted Gummit. I think it's Lifeline.
Yeah, it was.
And what it's basically about, oversimplifying the beginning, it's like it's supposed to be this insurance company that like has high level computer prediction technology that can predict when you're gonna die and save you right before you do.
Mm-hmm.
What it actually is they figured out how to send data back in time, and so when you die, they send it back in time to when you're gonna die, and so one of their agents go like forward in time to save you right before you get saved or some crap. It's something like that.
Ironically, that was what the Christmas episode of Doctor Who was.
Well, they copied Lifeline.
It was very similar to that.
But it's really interesting, and eventually I'll watch it. I gotta give YouTube Red some love because they need a lot of better stuff. I want to watch Minefield. That's Michael
Seinfeld?
Minefield, the host of the Vsauce.
Meinfeld.
Mike, anyways.
Me and Lori on the same level tonight, joke wise.
Oh, was that a joke?
That was a good one.
Since we got nothing else to add to that, talk about Doctor Who.
Oh my
Yo.
god. Jody. Okay. No.
I don't watch Doctor Who anymore, but I watched The Regeneration. It was lit. I'm excited about Female Doctor. I don't care.
I liked Capaldi a lot. I've felt his episodes weren't written to the best of his acting. If that makes sense,
Nope.
I feel Capaldi
feel
could have
like
been so much better.
Capaldi, I feel like he started off being like, I'm old man grumpy doctor to counter off the cool guy doctors we've had. And then they just wrote him in as cool guy doctor. Like,
Well-
let me put myself on top of a tank with a guitar and glasses. I'm the cool guy now.
A lot
Did
of
that really
his
happen?
episodes, yeah.
Man, fuck Doctor Who. This is why
A
I
lot
stopped watching.
a lot of his episodes would have been amazing if Matt Smith was there, because I feel Moffat never got out of writing for Matt Smith.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But-
we needed a grumpy doctor.
But this previous season,
Like,
I
wait, hold on
feel
real quick, because Capaldi was the when he started off.
Capaldi.
Like when he started.
Captain Picard is my favorite doctor ever.
When one of his first episodes was
My favorite
when they were
doctor is
William Shatner.
that doctor from SpongeBob that kind of talks like this.
Anyways, one of the first episodes he was in is when they were inside the Dalek, and like he straight up just kills a dude because he knows he's gonna get killed anyways. Like we needed that grumpy, non-forgiving doctor, and he turned into cool guy doctor.
But this past season, he was a professor. Like he wasn't traveling or anything like that, and that's how we met Bill because Bill was one of the students. And this was the first season watching Capaldi where I was like, this is Capaldi's doctor. It's not trying too hard to be overly grumpy to counteract Matt. It's not that ultimate goofy that Matt was. That was great for Matt.
I think it almost worked in like the Robin Hood episode where he was kind of goofy, but in a very grumpy, ironic way. Like, let me fight off Robin Hood with a spoon because I can, not because it's funny.
But it's like, I feel if you start back watching the show, just start with this previous season with Bill. Because not only is Bill a great companion, and I will fight the whole world to defend her, she is a great companion, but I feel this season was written for Capaldi. And now he's gone. And so is Bill. But Jodie, she was only on screen for like, 2 minutes at most? And I already love her, and I think she's going to be a great doctor.
Which I didn't have any complaints about when she was announced. I was just like, oh, that's cool. They're actually doing it.
I was on break, and they had announced it hours earlier. I was at work, and I was
I think because I messaged you on Facebook and
and I was just trying to not be spoiled by it. And so on break, I went to the Doctor Who's Facebook page, and there she was in the banner, and I screamed in the cafe, and I may have cried a little bit.
But she won me over immediately because as soon as she regenerated, the first thing she did was that goofy doctor smile.
Oh,
and I was like, she's going to do great.
Yeah, see, that's good. Whenever they do something like that, I'm always worried that they're doing it for the sake of being different, not because it'll work being different, which is never a good thing.
But Doctor Who's also been a very progressive show.
Yeah, I was always, because when Moffat was talking about wanting a female doctor, I was like, it's never a good idea to change just for the sake of change. Like, just having a female doctor just because it would be a female doctor is a bad idea. Doing a female doctor because you think the actress would be very good at being a female doctor, that's fine. I just don't trust Moffat in any way, shape, or form.
Well, luckily Moffat's not going to be writing for her.
I think the fact that the short list was down between Jodie and that other dude was kind of apparent that whichever direction they were going in, Jodie was the one that could bring out whatever doctor they were going for. So it's not doing a woman doctor for the sake of doing a woman doctor.
Her eyes lit up and she smiled and I was like, she's the doctor.
Yeah.
Like, that was very much the same whimsical look I've seen Christopher Eccleston do. It's the same look I've seen David Tennant do. It's the same look I've seen Matt Smith and Capaldi do. Like,
I can't wait till she gets her angry episode and starts yelling and screaming.
Oh my God, yes. I can't wait for her speech.
They all get at least one.
I can't wait for her speech because, each doctor has that definitive speech and I can't wait to hear hers and I'm probably going to cry.
Man, I like Capaldi, which I'm sure I would have liked it more if I actually stuck around and watched his run, but listening to Capaldi's, I was like, this is nice.
I stopped watching after the Mistress Cyberman episode.
I stopped watching after Matt Smith regenerated into Capaldi.
I was so disappointed.
I just never got around to picking it back
up. That episode, like, it started off great, and by the end of it, I was just sick of it.
I think that you should give this previous season a go.
I ain't got time.
Which I never really officially finished Series 7. I watched, the last episode I remember watching of Series 7 is the episode that takes place in the TARDIS with Clara kind of like walking around and stuff. And
just every day in the TARDIS, like
I just remember, like, I think she gets lost in the TARDIS or something.
Everyone gets lost in the TARDIS at least once.
That was Series 7.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
And then the last episode I watched after that was the Regeneration. Was that the name of the doctor, or was that A Town Called Mercy?
A Town Called Mercy.
That was the last one I watched. That was after the big special that we went to the theater to see, right?
The
what was that?
3 Doctors.
Was that the Day of the Doctor?
That was Day of the Doctor. Yeah, because it went Day of the Doctor, Name of the Doctor, and then
because that was right after Capaldi was announced.
It wasn't A Town Called Mercy. Town Called Mercy was the Western one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
what I thought. With the gunslinger.
You're right.
This one was called There was Day of the Doctor, Name of the Doctor, and then like Time of the Doctor or something like that.
I just remember he ended up growing old in this town.
Yeah.
And the town was called Christmas.
That's it. Yes.
And they couldn't lie because he was like, I'm wearing a wig.
I love this. Like, I'm wearing a wig. Oh, truth. I'm wearing a wig.
But
and then, is that what happened to your eyebrows? What? No, they're just fair.
that was the last I watched. I believe I watched a little bit of Capaldi's first episode. I don't know if I finished it or not.
Did you go to the theaters with us to see Capaldi's first episode?
No, I watched it on TV.
Well, I did too, but then I got people to go to the theater.
The only thing I remember is him waking up and drawing all over the floor.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing I remember from that episode, so I don't think I finished it. But after that, I just never got around to watching that series. And
I would love for Vastra and Jenny to meet
I just never
13.
got back into it. Who does Matt Lucas play?
He plays Nardal.
Who is that?
Like some robot guy.
Okay, because on Christmas, I watched... They had a Doctor Who marathon on BBC, and I watched 2 episodes.
He was in this new season.
Yeah, and I was curious about who he was, because he was, like, bossing the Doctor around.
Yeah, he's playing this, like, robot, and he's been commanded to make sure the Doctor doesn't go off and everything, because the Doctor has these responsibilities.
Yeah,
you find out later he's got Missy locked up because she was sentenced to death, and he saved her.
Which, because my theory was...
This season's been out for ages.
It was an episode...
I'm not spoiling the Christmas one.
It was the episode where this girl, that Bill had some connection to. Was
that's the first episode.
And then the next episode, they go to the planet that's uninhabited except for the robots that have the smiley
with the smiley faces?
Yeah, I watched those 2 episodes.
That first episode,
and
she was saved by lesbian love.
Yeah,
like literally, that was it.
I was watching it, and I was like, because I didn't see the first part, I saw the ending. I was like, is this what's going on? Okay, but like Matt Lucas was bossing Capaldi around, so like my theory was, I was like, I guess they found Gallifrey, and the Doctor has to have someone to like constantly keep him in check now.
It's almost like that. He saved Missy, and she's locked up in a vault. And it's like a vault underneath the university that he's teaching at. Oh. And so he's promised to not leave so that he can keep an eye on her. But then he meets Bill, and he, of course, being the Doctor, has to show out, I got a time machine. And then he's like, I have a time machine. I can start going places and then be back. And then Nardal's
that
like...
always works.
Yeah, and then Nardal's like, no. And that's basically the season.
Did they ever find Gallifrey?
Ish.
Yeah, that kind of
Ian
ended...
theorized that was going to be the entire story arc for Capaldi's run. Was finding
they
Gallifrey.
never really...
Just like... Okay, it's funny because Gallifrey was inside the cracks in the universe. And just like when the cracks in the universe first came up the first time, they completely forget about it. Just like the first time, like, oh man, there's cracks in the universe. We have to.
Well, the cracks
that sounds
give
like Stephen Moffat, right?
The cracks give Matt the extra regenerations.
Yeah.
And that's the last time it's really brought up. Then Capaldi's first season, there's the whole big speech about him looking like somebody that he knows.
Yeah.
And it's never brought up again.
No, it's not. Now I know exactly. I know exactly why they gave that speech, but.
It's like I always hope that there would be some sort of conclusion to it, and there really wasn't.
Do that, Stephen Moffat.
The reason it was supposed to be, I think, is because Peter Capaldi played.
He played
someone
in Pompeii.
Yeah, and he also played the guy in the Torchwood special, and basically him and all of his relatives are dead at this point, and it was. Basically, that was always doomed to happen because the Doctor saved someone in a fixed timeline where they were supposed to die.
Final Destination, Doctor Who style. But I feel Stephen Moffat is very strong at writing individual episodes.
Oh, absolutely.
Even throughout these seasons, taking it episode by episode, it's like, oh, this is a good episode. Oh, this is a good episode. But then as a whole season and as season arcs, multiple season arcs, I don't think he can carry
the last line of Matt Smith's first season was, we have to figure out why the TARDIS exploded. And that is never mentioned again, ever, until the last episode he's in. And it's in passing. It's like, remember that time you tried to blow up the TARDIS? Sorry about that.
Which that was kind of my biggest problem. And that's kind of eventually what kind of pushed me away from the series was... I liked Series 5. I thought Series 5 was alright. I thought he did a very decent job of doing an overarching story.
I loved Season 5.
Series 6 rubbed me the wrong way a bit because I hated how...
weak.
It's really weak.
Bad places.
But it was like halfway through the series, I started theorizing and predicting what was going to happen, and everything I predicted happened. So I was like, oh, this is pretty poor. But I hated how he connected all the characters together. How Amy and River Song, Roy and the Doctor all connected together in like this big familial thing.
See, that's another reason I
was
like
never a fan
Bill.
of that.
It's another reason I really like Bill, because it has been a while since we've had just a companion.
Yeah.
Because you had Amy, who was the girl who waited. He was the first face this face saw. You know, it's like she is the mother of River Song, his wife. There's just this huge tie-in to the Doctor. Then you have Clara, who goes into the Doctor's timeline and all this, and Raggedy Man, I know your name, and you know, and it's like, I love Clara, I love Amy, but Bill is just a student. She's just a normal person. She gets in there, she's like, what's this? What's that? What's this? And I was like, she has too many questions, and I'm like, well, you would too if you went into the TARDIS.
Yeah. Like,
I can't believe we're talking about Doctor Who this long.
Companion.
Okay, and one last complaint I have on the, 5th season of Doctor Who? So I go back and rewatch the first 4 seasons of Doctor Who. Season 1, okay, Bad Wolf was written everywhere, but you didn't know what it meant. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just a thing, and it's like, what is that? And then when you figure out what it does mean, you're like, that's crazy!
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the second season had. I feel like it probably had something in it, but that was relevant to that.
You don't watch that season very often anyway.
Season 2, yeah. That's the David Tennant's
season
first
2.
one?
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
trying to
I'm thinking
remember.
of the wrong one.
How did that one end?
That one ended with
What's the one that ended with
Rose getting trapped in the other dimension. So there was that buildup of Torchwood.
Yes, there were hints to that, I think, somewhere.
There were.
In season 3, there was the Vote
Master.
Saxon.
Yeah, Vote Saxon.
Posters everywhere.
And
like season 4, you had the Dr.
There's
Donna
something
thing.
on your back.
Yeah, something on your back. You had the Atmos things on the back of cars. And you can go back and rewatch those. Like, oh, I didn't notice that. Season 4, at the end of every damn episode, is zoom in on the cracks. Every episode. There's no subtlety. And then at the end, it's like, there are cracks in the universe. Like, no shit. I had no idea.
Moffat doesn't have that subtle touch that Davies did because
by the time they actually started dealing with the cracks in the universe, you were sick of them. You're like, I've seen this.
Wasn't Saxon mentioned way before season 3?
Possibly.
Like, I almost
remember
feel
Bad Wolf being
Saxon
wrapped up in season 1. I feel like it bled into season 2.
It did, but it was wrapped up.
I mean, Bad Wolf bled into Day of the Doctor, but I feel that's just because Moffat was...
It's just a metaphor for end of the world, basically, by that point.
Yeah, but, well...
And the time the werewolf...
It was weird. It was weird in the Day of the Doctor, though, because it was just like, I'm the bad wolf. And I was like, that's not what that was used for.
I don't remember that. I remember that. The 2 times they mention it after, that I remember after season 1, is when the werewolf mentions that she's seen the big bad wolf.
We're just oot in a boot.
And when Donna sees Rose in the alternate timeline, and she has one message to give the Doctor, and it's Bad Wolf, and he's freaking out. That was good. Anyways, we talked about Doctor Who way too long.
That's because Doctor Who is still amazing.
Apparently. Okay, the movies.
I may actually get into Doctor Who again now that this new season started, and it's a new showrunner, and it's something I'm actually excited about.
Give Capaldi's last season just a chance.
We'll have a Doctor Who episode. We could have done that with the Christmas special one, but there's so many movies that come out of Christmas.
But we can do it. We can do it with Jodie's first full episode. That's true. Which I would be totally down for.
Look forward to that, guys.
Yes.
I'm actually looking forward to it.
No,
oh my god, it's going to be in
direction it goes
fall of 2018.
Because apparently I read that all of the loose ends from Capaldi's story have been completely wrapped up. Everything's wrapped up, so they can go in a completely new direction with Jodie.
It's going to be just like when we changed from 10 to 11.
Okay.
It felt like a complete revamp of the show. New writer, new Doctor, new companions, even a new TARDIS, and we very well may be getting that again.
Like I said,
we may even be getting a new composer.
The 2 episodes I watched on Christmas Day, being Capaldi's last season, I was really into the new title sequence. I was like, damn, this shit's cool.
Was that the clock and everything?
The clock, yeah.
Cool fact, that before Capaldi even became the Doctor, a person made a fan video of what the credits could be. they love that so much they actually hired that guy to do like the credits, and that became the actual.
Yeah. Okay, you guys can.
Anyways, what this episode is actually supposed to be about, the two movies I saw
It's Doctor Who.
yesterday, back to back. It was fun.
Oh my god, I saw those texts. I was like, oh my god, Brad, like, just like,
it was good. Well, see,
back to
I
back.
haven't seen any movies.
I went to see Jumanji with Alicia, and I was already there, and so I was like, I can see two movies that I need to see for the podcast. The Greatest Showman was the first, and honestly,
oh my god.
before I even say what I thought about it, if it weren't for this podcast, I would have just, and if it weren't for this podcast and I needed to see Jumanji, I would have just went to see The Greatest Showman with Alicia again.
I'm happy I saw both. I need to go back. So one, I need to go back and see Jumanji again because I went after work and I fell asleep for just a small moment, and it was literally the moment where he ate the cake and blew up. I know that was the moment because one, I never saw it in the movie, and two, there's the one part where he goes, I blow up when I eat cake. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
I love that because he's so matter of fact about it. I blow up when I eat cake. And he looks at him just like, yeah. But The Greatest Showman, the funniest thing about The Greatest Showman is like, I knew nothing about it. I knew one thing about it. And that was that he played P.T. Barnum. And that is only because the night before I got dragged into a restaurant trivia game, and that was one of the questions. That is the only reason. Yeah, that is the only reason I knew anything about that movie. And so I go in, and it's so funny. I was so late. I missed everything. I literally sat down in my seat right when like whoever made the movie came up.
You beat me. I was 15 minutes late to the movie.
Well, see, I didn't know anything about the movie, and I was watching it, and they start singing. I'm just like, what the hell is happening? And they keep thinking, like, apparently this is a musical.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a really good one. The music is incredible.
Like, I was telling him before the podcast started, like it's such a good movie. It's actually one of the very few movies that'll make my white ass want to actually dance with it. Like, it's impressive.
The songs made me incredibly emotional just because they're very much set in that, it's okay to be different. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to be yourself. And I'm just like, oh my God.
And then like you have his story, which is, according to William, very romanticized, which is probably is.
P.T. Barnum,
asshole.
Yeah, he was not the greatest person.
He was not the greatest showman.
He was
not the greatest showman. He wasn't
exactly the greatest person in the movie, to be fair. Well,
it's like there's a whole thing of P.T. Barnum mistreating animals and everything,
absolutely.
But it's like, which brings me to the fact, I was really glad they CGI'd the animals in it.
Oh yeah, you knew they would have. Like if the circus had just gotten rid of the elephants and then the movie brings in real elephants,
because that circus, like the Ringley brothers, is no longer there because of the mistreatment of animals. It was just, and all that. So to CGI the animals, I was like, good play.
Yeah,
circus sucks well done. Anyways. I've never been to the circus and had a good time.
Neither had I. Oh, I've just never been at all.
I've been to the circus one time and I sat there miserable.
Now, if Zendaya was the trapeze artist,
that's the funniest thing to me. It's like you have
she was great.
It's like you have Wolverine doing this whole, hey, let's start this show, and like the side story is about two Disney kids falling in love.
Oh my God, but they were great.
Zac Efron's all grown up.
He is.
Like he's
Zac
so
Efron's
adult.
in The Disaster Artist.
So I saw him in Hairspray, which was fresh out of High School Musical.
It was like literally the year after High School Musical
and everything. And so to see him from that musical playing Link Larkin, this cool suave guy, to now playing this rich suave guy, I was like, oh my God, his voice has dropped multiple octaves, which I didn't think was possible. I guess it's like second puberty. And then he's just grown up.
The only thing I know him from... Oh, wait. Am I thinking of the right kid? Hold on. Let me look at that. Maybe I don't know what he's from.
Well, Brad looks that up. And then you have
Firefly?
Zendaya.
Firefly?
Yeah, Zac Efron plays young Simon in Firefly.
I didn't know that.
Oh my God, I need my phone.
Yeah.
But then...
Because I remember watching Firefly in the episode he's in. I was like, oh, that's Zac Efron.
Oh, I gotta see this now.
Yeah, he plays young Simon in Firefly. Just so y'all know, Zac Efron is in The Disaster Artist, and he plays Dan, the actor who plays Chris R in the movie, and it's very hilarious.
I didn't know he was young Simon.
He's like 4. Look at him.
Gentalaguay.
That's so weird.
Oh my gosh, it is Zac Efron! The only thing I know him from, and talking is hard, is what, 17 again?
Oh my god, that's such a good
That's
movie.
the first time I ever actually saw Zac Efron.
I'm bleeding.
I forced you to watch that movie.
It was a pretty good movie.
It ended up being really good.
I don't know about really
He's
good.
been in a lot.
I own that movie.
That was a decent movie. I'll give it
It was
that.
a fun little movie.
I mean, yeah, for the kind of movie inside its own genre, yes,
it's
really good movie.
Yeah.
Last movie I saw him in was Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
It was very funny.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed
wanted
it.
to see it. It's because it had I can't think of her name in it.
And Aubrey Plaza.
Yes, her.
And, and
April
Anna Kendrick
Ludgate.
And that guy from Workaholics was in it.
Anyways,
It was really funny. I really liked it.
But-
It made me laugh.
The Greatest Showman. It was so good. I really want to go see it again.
I do too, because I
want us all to go see
Come
it.
to
Yeah.
Rainbow City at some point next. Come to my apartment next week. We'll go see it together.
How
Are
about
you inviting
no?
us or are you inviting the listeners?
Yeah, all of you.
Everyone from Japan, United States, come to my apartment. We'll all go see The Greatest Snowman together.
I know, it's so weird because we have like listeners from like California, Illinois, a lot in Georgia, a lot in Alabama. That's mostly just people we force to listen to it.
Hey,
And then a
friends.
few people in Japan. Hi.
Hello.
And then,
But
but Zendaya,
I know.
But
fantastic.
she really was. I've never heard of her before. Alicia knew who she was.
I've only seen her
I
in
don't-
Spider-Man.
She was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I didn't pay attention to. I wasn't.
I didn't even know she was a Disney kid.
Yeah, she was on.
Kind of watched Spider-Man.
She was in that show with Bella Thorne, wasn't
Yeah, she was in
Yeah,
the
but
show.
she?
With
I didn't know
Spider-Man-
that until recently.
She looked like she was like 12 in Spider-Man, and she looked like she was like 22 in this movie.
Makeup.
Yeah, apparently.
The power of movie magic.
She also had a pink wig in this movie. It was really cool.
And it was actually a wig because you see her a lot without
Yeah.
it too. And
She looked like
the
Nicki Minaj.
the movie really targets a lot of social issues.
I
at the
love. That's
time.
my favorite thing. Is like he just looks his parents dead night. How dare you talk to her that way?
God, that one scene where he grabs her hand and
Wait,
then
what?
people look and he lets go crushed me.
I crushed him too. Like he starts crying. Oh, it's a good scene.
It's a really emotional show.
I don't know if you know this, but Zendaya, is that you say her name?
Yeah.
And she's not white, so that's an important thing in the movie.
Yeah, I got
And
that.
Zac Efron is white.
Yeah, that's the whole.
Oh, does Zac Efron stand up for the racial inequality?
Eventually.
He's in them two end up in a relationship together. And in that time.
Oh my God, their
Yeah.
song together.
Who's the racist?
Oh my God, that song!
Everyone
Society
Let's
in
say
the
P.T.
early
Barnum was pretty
1900s.
racist, so, I mean, I wouldn't surprise
Yeah,
me.
they don't.
Society in the early 1900s.
They don't.
I got you.
They don't sort of. They don't really because they're trying to make him look like a good guy. They don't really touch on him being like racist or discriminatory. But there are a few things like where he sort of when he's with his rich friends badmouths the actors.
There are several
And
scenes
instead of
that
getting upset about it, the bearded lady just like screw it. She gets all feisty and starts singing as a good.
she's
scene.
so great.
Yeah, she really
Dude,
is.
that
P.T. Barnum was a
song
dick.
when he closes them out and that song, oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
a good song.
It's
I want to
so
see
powerful.
this movie again.
Me too. I'm probably gonna.
See it next week.
I'm really thinking about going tomorrow to see
But
it.
seriously, their song together, Zac Efron's and Zendaya's, that the whole just not just
that-
the song, the scene. There's so much symbolism
Because
going on with them
not
going up and
only
down.
is the music incredible, and I need
Zac
to own this
Efron
soundtrack,
jumped off a balcony and I like
and caught onto a rope.
and I wanted to throw up. I was
like,
oh.
ugh. But not only is this a soundtrack that I want to own, but it's visually beautiful. Like, just
Yes,
beautiful.
it's got some of the weirdest choreography I've ever seen. I love
But
it.
it's perfect. And Hugh Jackman with the top hat. And all the little
I know, I'm so
twists
upset.
and throws and
All those
everything.
people have top hats. If I wear a top hat now, I'm weird. But they look so cool. That top
Well,
hat.
this whole thing is about embracing yourself. Wear that top hat.
A celebration of humanity.
Believe
Yep.
in yourself.
Oh,
God,
and
that's a
then
good movie.
the bartender.
Holy
Is
crap!
The
like,
choreography that the bartender has, because watching that scene, I was just like,
I swear
Oh my God.
he had to have had more than 2 arms. Because
Yeah.
the way he was moving that stuff, I was
oh my
like,
God. William, you have to go see this movie.
I know, did you
in
just
a couple of
thinking about
days.
that song, I just want to like get in the table and start dancing.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I want to see that
Get
movie
it
again.
When I moved in.
I'm
and my
definitely
cat's
gonna go see it
comfortable.
tomorrow.
Like, I love Jumanji, but like, I'm not like, I need to go see it again. But this movie, I want to see.
Jumanji's a movie I want to own when it comes out.
And I will watch it over and over and over again.
The Greatest Showman is a movie not only am I going to own, but I want to go see it in theaters.
Yeah,
at
exactly. I
least
want to see
one
it
more
in
time.
theaters again.
Because
Jumanji was my favorite movie when I was 6.
You know what? Let's just no segue whatsoever. Is there anything more I want to talk about in the Greatest Showman? There's a lot of stuff, but I don't want to spoil too much. Not that there's a whole lot to spoil. It's like, hey, the stuff that actually happened.
history book, you guys, but make sure you pour a little sugar on top.
P.T. Barnum once talked about how black people were inferior. So, P.T. Barnum's a dick.
But Hugh Jackman is not. That
But
we know of.
He capitalized in the movie. He capitalized on the fact that the society is a dick. That's why. That's why he's like, people aren't gonna like black people on stage. He's like, I know, I'm counting on it.
Yeah.
So he was.
It
They
really
made-
much
it's
at the
funny,
start.
like-
It shows him exploiting these people.
Yeah,
he
and
is
it's funny.
definitely.
It's because he's got that
exploiting
charming.
them.
He's got that charming Hugh Jackman smile. You're just like, oh, okay, and the lady, you're like, wait a minute, maybe.
I mean, anyone would
But
fall
literally,
for that.
I'm not watching that movie for P.T. Barnum
Oh, yeah,
at all.
absolutely.
Like,
no,
like Hugh
absolutely.
Jackman
I
does a great
understand.
job, but
It's a
watching the movie, it's like I just want backstory for every one of the people in the troupe. I'm like, give me a movie all about them and everything.
Yeah, like there's a difference in making a full-on biopic and romanticizing certain parts and sugarcoating certain parts. And then there's stuff like this where it's just taking the general idea and turning it into a fun little musical.
Imagine the Lincoln movie if they kept that historically accurate. He was pretty fantastically racist too.
Well, yeah. I need to go back and watch Lincoln.
Well,
and
I was
see
gonna
if there's
say,
any
I
bit
mean,
of that
even
sprinkled-
Hamilton.
Yeah,
It's like
sprinkled around in there.
one of the cabinet battles that was taken out literally does call out the fact Washington has slaves. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Hamilton's a bit more straightforward about the history stuff.
this is true.
Which the Lincoln movie only specifically focuses on one certain period of his life, so. And it's a very good movie, too.
When he chopped down the tree.
No segue whatsoever.
That was Andrew Jackson that chopped down the cherry tree.
I thought it was Washington. I was like, I've done messed up.
No, it is. I was just kidding.
But
Andrew Jackson discovered the War of 1812.
okay, gotta cut it off before we go over time. Jumanji.
Jumanji.
My favorite scene in Jumanji is the part where Peter is
gonna
breaking
stop you
down
right there.
the shed with the axe and then looks at the camera.
I'll stop you right there. If you don't want a minor spoiler, cover your ears now. When you hear me yell really loud, that'll be when the spoiler is over.
Like that scene in Jumanji where Robin
Stop
Williams
talking,
says,
stop
"What year is it?"
Stop talking. See,
And
now,
then goes, "Ah!"
now they're gonna think they can uncover their ears when they can't. Why you gotta ruin this? If you came back, cover your ears again. The minor spoiler has not been revealed. They go to this hut, and it says, Alan was carved into the hut.
That's cool.
Oh, is it? Because I know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they go to the place where...
I really should have rewatched the old Jumanji first, because
My favorite part of Jumanji.
Okay. Spoiler's over!
My favorite part of Jumanji is the
I'm gonna kick you
terrible
out of these
CGI
podcasts.
monkeys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's what gave them their charm, was the terrible CGI-ness of
I
it.
feel a lot of the 90s CGI,
But-
part of the charm is how bad it
The
is.
thing about Jumanji is I had absolutely no faith whatsoever
Robin
that
Williams.
that these characters were going to portray the teenagers in a way that wasn't just ho 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 we're teenagers, but it did.
God,
there was so much. There was so much character
good.
growth, and here's the thing. It wasn't like a lot of movies where like, oh, I've grown as a person. Now I'm a completely different person. No, they stayed who they were at their core. They even kind of stayed the same kind of person, but they were more accepting of the kind of person they were. Like you had the really self-absorbed girl,
Which I think had the best character development in the entire movie.
Absolutely. At the end, she's really self-absorbed, and at the end of the movie, she's not any less self-absorbed. She's just like, it's okay for me to be like this as long as I care what other people think too. And so she stays the same person, just better.
Yeah.
And it's just really, you
It's
don't
like
get that a lot.
she's still that popular girl, but she's no longer like
mean to people just because they aren't the popular girl too.
Yeah, it's like
She develops empathy.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
She also develops a sense of adventure.
Instead of like a lot of movies character development, they change as a person. These people grow as a character.
Yeah.
But
and it's so much better.
Speaking on her, Jack Black does such a good job because that is one character that could have went
I expected that to be
horribly
nothing
wrong.
but just stupid jokes like, oh, I'm girls. No, it was really
And I expect nothing but the best out of Jack Black.
like it started
Jack Black's
out.
that one actor that surprises me in every movie he's in.
It's like there was the first joke of the oh my god, I'm a middle-aged fat dude, and then
Which, to be fair, that's a reasonable reaction.
yeah,
Like,
and
that's fair.
but the whole like Jack Black flirting with Nick Jonas.
Yeah.
And it's something that should be super awkward.
But it works really
But
well.
he does such a good job of portraying this girl that
Alright.
you just see her.
Jack Black teaching Karen Gillian
How to
flirt is the stupidest and best thing because Jack
Dwayne
Black.
Johnson and Kevin Hart teaching Jack Black how to pee standing up.
Yes.
This is like the best movie ever.
I love that.
I can't wait to see this now.
I wonder if in real life Karen Gillian taught Jack Black how to flirt as a girl that way in the scene. That because like Jack Black, he's got it down.
Yeah.
He is like he has got
The
every
walk, the just, hey,
look,
how's it
the
going?
lip bite.
And-
He's got it down. He's trying to teach Karen Gillian, and she's doing like she's trying to do the lip bite, and she's like,
It's so great.
It's so bad, and I love how they all have these powers. That some of them are like, it's really interesting because Kevin Hart's character has he has the zoology and the backpack power, which he hates, and by the end of it, he's like, I'm the backpack guy. You guys couldn't make it without me.
Which is amusing because his teenage character is the guy who doesn't want to do the work, doesn't want to do the research, and he's the strength and everything.
In gaming terms, because this is how I see everything, he went from being the tank to the support character. And oh my gosh, I empathize with that so much. The support character gets no respect until they actually need him.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the Rock's character, the teen that played Bravestone, played by The Rock, has all these great superpowers. And I don't think he ever successfully uses any of them except for that one fight scene.
Yeah.
The only one he manages to use right is his intense smoldering. I love that power.
That's the biggest question I had with it. Like, I had no doubt that Jack Black and Karen Gillian would have been able to accurately acted as characters.
They all did
All of them.
But yeah, that's what I was about to say is The Rock and Kevin Hart being able to do anything outside of their usual, hey, I'm The Rock and I'm in this movie. Hey, I'm Kevin Hart and I'm in this movie.
Well, that's the kind of thing is that,
I stopped seeing them and I see the teenagers.
Yes.
You really stop. The one time that I'm just like, oh yeah, that's The Rock is when he lands and he does the people's eyebrow. He has to do that.
You can't have a...
Well, that's why they gave him literally on his character sheet. His ability says intense smoldering. That's one of his strengths, and it comes up. He's like, "We have to eat, guys. Will you stop doing that?"
One of Karen's abilities is dance fighting.
She never does any other kind of fighting in that whole movie,
and it's the best. And it's always the same song.
It's so great because they all have different strengths. They all have different weaknesses, and their strengths are completely different from what they would have in real life. And instead of, the first part, they are complaining about it. But some of them just, it's so weird how instead of complaining, they start to actually work together and complement each other. It's really well written. And I'd like to point out the person that was most easily, what's the word I'm looking for? That immediately was like, all right, this is my job. I've got to do it to get out of here. Was the blonde girl. She immediately I can read the map, and she just jumps on that. She's the first one. No one else does it like that.
And see, I really thought that they were going to play off of, stupid blonde girl, da-da-da.
I don't know, man.
And she goes, oh, no, it's right here, and just takes the lead.
It's so funny because she's like, if this is that, and this is that, then we're going this way. It's like, I've used that with a real map when we were in Atlanta for Dragon Con. That's not as easy as it sounds to go, this is here, and this is here, we're here.
Friends, I'm going to have to step into the map
You
now.
really do. You have to step into the map.
I remember standing on the streets of Atlanta trying to line up the map with the roads that we're standing at, going, okay, which direction do we need to go?
We should have just bought, if we had bought a compass, the whole life would have been way easier.
We need the official Dragon Con compass.
Yeah, we could just with the map. Anyways. I don't know, it's just, It's just a really well-written movie where all the characters complement each other and they all grow because of each other.
When we were talking about the trailer, we mentioned the worry because the old Jumanji is a very serious, intense movie. Yeah. But there is that funny humor to it. And this movie, I feel, followed that. I mean, you know, the trailers were marked as super funny and everything, but I caught myself, like, holding my breath, freaking out. I was cried so a good bit
because I really I really thought they were going to kill someone off.
I cried over Nick Jonas's character. I cried over Nick Jonas's character. I cried over Nick Jonas's character.
Minor spoiler: no one dies. But instead,
I still cried over
exactly. Instead of a character death, they give you something that hurts you so much more.
Oh my god! When we get finished with this, I just really want to talk about the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending in this. But that ending, the very ending, I cried a lot. And it was like sweet tears. It's not sad. But I had to like hold my breath because I was going to blubber. Like,
that was a really good movie. It's so weird because that movie, at its core, what I'd say that movie was about is about accepting yourself. Because you have all these characters are someone else completely different, and because they learn to accept the characters they played in real life, they learn to accept who they were in real life.
It also shows that you don't have to place yourself into one singular box.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do so much more.
There's so many different things going on at the same time.
Don't place yourself into a stereotype. Don't place yourself into a clique just because you think that's what you need to do. You can still be that person, but do so much more.
And they also, what I just realized is that
and then defeat a creepy bug man.
I could not figure out why I knew him.
Why
I spent the whole movie trying to figure it out.
Because I had that same issue.
And I still can't remember. I figured it out and I was like, oh, right. But talking about that thing, I just realized that, like, they end up not only accepting themselves, but accepting the other people. Because it's a major role reversal. Like, the strong guy figures out what it's like to be the small guy that's always trying to help people.
Which is super cliche. But they pull it off really well.
It's done better this way. And like the really judgmental redheaded girl kind of feels like what it's like to be the pretty girl, and she learns not to judge her just because she's the pretty girl. Because it's funny because you think she's this dumb bimbo, but she's really not. Like right off the bat, she's like, she immediately knows exactly what's going on in the redhead girl's head and just like basically just diagnoses her problem right then and there. Brief pause while I try to remember
it was Van Pelt, wasn't it? Movie.
He's the dude that's in a bunch of comedies. He was in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
That's it! He's the bad guy in Paul Blart Mall Cop. He's the police officer. That's why I know him.
I fell asleep during that movie too.
Yeah, he's scary, dude.
Really?
I mean,
I miss old man.
He reminded me of Colin, not Firth.
Farrell?
Colin Farrell playing a bad guy.
No. I mean, really? Yes, I see what you're saying, but no, I knew it was
like
someone else.
Fright Night vampire Colin Farrell.
He
reminded me of that.
I like indie movie Colin Farrell. Because I'm a hipster.
But no, man, them bugs, that was not cool.
One of my favorite movies of the year had Colin Farrell in it. We'll get into that later when I do my William Bell's top 10 films of 2017.
Yeah, we probably need to jump into that pretty soon.
You should do a top 17 films of 2017.
Actually, it wouldn't be too bad because there's a lot of movies this year I saw that I like.
You haven't seen The Greatest Showman or Jumanji.
I saw movies that were better. No, I'm getting around to them.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to add addendums to the list, we can add them. But is there anything else we want to add to Jumanji?
My top 10's established. Greatest Showman and Jumanji can't change that.
Oh. Jumanji, I don't know. Jumanji was really good. It just, I don't know. There's so many layers to what they were doing. Like they touched so many topics and they did them all so well. And also, when Alan went to Jumanji, do you think he had 3 lives too, or did he just have the one? Did he get gypped?
Oh, I don't know. They do a really good job of changing the game too.
Yeah. From a D&D perspective, what the hell is Jumanji? It's like some sentient ancient artifact to another world. What does it gain from people playing this game? Like, what does it get out of this weird interaction?
And this isn't spoilers because it happens at the very beginning of the movie, but I want to know what this kid's logic was. My dad brought me home a board game. I put it on my shelf and I hear drumming and now it's a video game. Let's stick this cursed object into my game system.
That is exactly what I would have done. I'd be like, what is this crap? Does it actually...
You're stupid and will not survive the harsh winter.
It's just like, what is this? Does this actually work? And then, you know...
That's how every terrible creepypasta begins.
Oh, well...
You are weak and you won't survive.
I can live with that. Or not, as the case
In
may
the
be.
trailer, they show the board game. Does the board game ever come up in the movie at all?
Yeah.
At the very beginning, yeah.
Oh, really?
It physically changes itself into a video game.
Because
really?
the kid
That's
looks at it
weird.
and he's like, a board game, no one plays it, and he sticks it up and starts playing a video game.
And then you... And then
Yeah.
the next morning he opens it up and the board game is just blank. It's just black inside.
There's
just
a video
cartridge.
game, yeah. And so it's...
Yeah, so this thing can think and reason and listen. What is it? They make this joke really early on with the bowling ball, and it seems kind of random. Then they use it at the end, and Alicia noticed that on the bowling ball it has a white rhino on it. And I just love that they took the time to put that there. That was it. Anyways.
I like, because there was a lot of backlash whenever the first images were brought up because of Karen's outfit. And then you realize that they're characters in a video game. This movie calls out Karen's outfit, and for half the movie, she either has a shirt tied around her waist or is wearing a shirt to try and cover up.
She should have given that to Nick Jonas's character. Would have helped him a lot. Anyways, that's enough Jumanji for now. We might go back to it if I feel like it. William, you have some movies you want to talk about? Being on a list of some sort of
got
top?
some movies.
Every year, directors release their top 10 movies of the year. I am not a director, but I'm close enough.
That's like, you're more director than the rest of us are.
I'm William Bell, damn it. And here's my top 10 movies of 2017.
All right. Wait. Number 10.
Number 10, Killing a Sacred Deer.
What is that?
Oh my god, this is going to be 10 movies we've never heard of.
The film is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
Okay.
He released The Lobster last year, which was a really good movie. Yeah. This
I don't
film
know that movie either.
it starred Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman.
Pretty close, actually.
Anyways, the film is about Colin Farrell as a surgeon, and he ends up doing a surgery while drunk, and the patient dies. I can't remember if it was a year or some years later, the patient's son ends up...
Oh, I know
and
this
Colin
movie.
Farrell becomes his protege. However, the boy ends up doing this weird supernatural shit and ends up like making the family sick. And basically tells Colin Farrell, it's like a suspenseful psychological thriller that's done in like a really black comedy kind of way, but in like a very monotone and I don't know. It's hard to explain the director's style because he does the same thing in The Lobster too. But anyways, he basically tells Colin Farrell, you're responsible for the death of one of my family members, so you can either, your family can suffer or you can kill one of your own. And it's basically the whole movie's that moral thing of, what's wrong with my family? What did you do to them? How do we fix it? Because no one can figure out anything wrong with them. So it's like there's this weird thing about like...
In the end, it turns out he's just drunk and it's all in his head. Because magic isn't real.
But it's a really weird movie, but I really enjoyed it. It's one of those movies that I like.
Number 9.
Number 9 is The Disaster Artist.
Okay,
Wow.
Because I had it was the most fun I've had in the theater this year.
cool. That's fair.
Because,
That's you haven't seen The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
But I saw it with Jordan and Cameron, and me and Jordan, The Room is like one of the movies we quote and constantly and make fun of and talk about. So watching The Disaster Artist with him, we were basically just laughing, cutting up laughing the entire time because it's so funny to us. And so I really loved the movie. I loved James Franco's performance. It was fun.
All right.
Basically.
Number 8.
Number 8 is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
That's that movie that's got Woody Harrelson in it.
Yes, it is. It's directed by Martin McDonough. McDonough, I don't know, some Irish dude. I can't pronounce it, but he did In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths.
I don't know either of those movies.
They're both great. This movie was a great black comedy. Sam Rockwell was nominated for Best Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor, which he deserves because he does a great job. Sam Rockwell plays Guy in Galaxy Quest.
Oh.
Wow.
He plays the racist cop in this movie, who has a great character arc. But no, the movie is great. It's got a great blend of drama and comedy. I enjoyed it.
A dramedy.
Dramedy.
Number 7.
Is that what number we're on?
Yeah.
Number 7 was It.
That was a good movie.
I have not seen it.
Man,
It is my favorite.
if we had
Stephen
been doing
King
this
book.
podcast when that movie came out,
I would have had
probably
so
would have seen it.
much fun talking about that movie because I had so much fun
that was a
watching this
good
movie. It is my favorite Stephen King book. And I hyped the hell out of this movie for years because Cary Fukunaga was the original writer director, and then I was just hyped about it because I love Cary Fukunaga. He did True Detective and some other movie, that A Beast of No Nation. I don't know if any of you've seen it. It's a Netflix movie. It's really good. But I was really excited listening to him talk about what he was doing with the film and what he was, trying to accomplish with it. And it's just great because I like the idea of going back to horror films that aren't complete jump scares or slow burn type horror, and that's what he was going for. And while he left the project due to creative differences, however, they used the script that he wrote and added, because his script kind of strayed away from the book a little bit, and the new director, Andy Muschietti, added some more stuff from the book back into the movie. So the film is a mixture of Cary Fukunaga's character drama and slow horror with one or two scenes in here of more traditional type horror that's not exactly jump scares, but kind of leans into that area just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun to watch. It was just a great movie. I had one of my favorite horror movies of all time now. One of my favorite movies of the year. There's one scene in particular that I really enjoyed, that because me and Jordan, this is one of the only other movies me and Jordan saw together this year. And the reason we enjoyed this one scene specifically so much because it looked like a scene that we directed.
Wow.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, the house, the scene inside the house felt exactly like a scene we would have directed and wrote. And so we were both just like,
it
this
looked
is
low budget. So,
but the clown room, there's
it really
there's two different specific scenes that made us think about it. There's a room where Richie walks into a room full of clowns. And I told Jordan that feels like something you would do. And there's another part where they're running down the hallway and they come up to 3 doors and it says, not scary, a little less scary, super scary, or something like that. And they run to the not scary one and they open and it's like the upper half of a dead body hanging there laughing at them. And then Jordan leaned to me and was like, this is something you would do. And it's really funny because we kept going back and forth throughout that whole scene and pointing out how like we've already done this to some degree. It was just really cool. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed It the Clown. I love Bill Skarsgård's portrayal of Pennywise.
He did
and I know there's like a lot of people who are like, oh, he
his
can't
costume
talk.
was amazing.
It's one thing, like me and Jordan kind of compared it to the Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger debate.
Mm-hmm.
How,
they're completely different.
It is completely different, Pennywise's. And there was never no doubt in my mind that Bill Skarsgård would have done a fantastic job.
It was scary.
And it was amazing. And Jordan agreed, because Jordan was one of those that was kind of skeptical about it, but when he saw it, he was like all in for it. He was like, right. Because there's the scene in the house specifically. There's this one part where Eddie is hyperventilating, and he starts mocking him. He's going,
yeah.
It's so great. And he's like pretending to eat his hand and laughing at him.
It's a weird movie.
And it's like, the great thing is the kids are so great. Like, this is the greatest kids actor I've ever seen, because they portray fear in such an accurate way without it looking over the top.
Have you listened to any of the interviews he's done? Because he talked about the kids. He's like, I was so afraid, like I'm this scary clown, and I walk out there, and there's this scene, and the kids are freaking out. I was like, what am I doing with my life? I'm scaring these children, and then the moment they say cut, the kid stands up, looks at me like, I love what you're doing with the character. And walks away.
He was surprised how professional the kids.
He's like, they're more professional than half the people I've worked with in Hollywood.
Yeah, and there's just one part where in the house, Bev shoves a fire poker through Pennywise's head, and he spins around, and like half of his face is nothing but this sharp-toothed grin, and she goes, and shudders, and it's so good. It's just little things like that made me love it even more. All right, that was number 7, right?
Yep.
Number 6!
Number 6, Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Dang.
I love it so much. Like, the more I think about it, a week. It's been a week. Has it been a little bit more than a week? The more I think about it, the more I love it.
It's been more than a week.
It's so great in my mind now.
I want to go
relatives go see it, and the fact that they're like, oh, I didn't really like that movie. I was like, what's wrong with you? This was a fantastic movie.
Like, it's just wonderful.
I want to go back and see it again.
I said this in the Discord chat. It's something that I mentioned this when we were talking about the Star Wars thing. I thought the scene with Rose saving Finn was weird, and then I sent it in the Discord chat. I got it. Like, that's Rose stops Finn from leaving battle, and then stops him from charging into battle, but both times is stopping him from leaving the fight completely.
Oh yeah.
I was like, the moment I realized the symbolism and how deep that actually went, I was like, oh no, that scene is so much sadder now that I get it. Like, she was doing what she did at the very beginning of the movie, at the very end of the movie. She was stopping him from leaving all of his friends behind.
But I've had a whole podcast to talk about Star Wars, so I'm not going to talk about Star Wars that much. Number five, Dunkirk.
Oh, really?
Yes, I love Dunkirk.
Really? I wanted to go see it, and then I didn't.
I saw it in IMAX twice, and it was an experience. It was It was the best movie I've ever seen in IMAX. Like, it really, the sound design, like, both times I saw it, I was just as tense as they were showing the soldiers. Like, it was a very tense experience. It was a really great movie. It's I believe Christopher Nolan's most mature film, because he's done a lot of his Batman movies were good, but ever since then, like his movie Inception and Interstellar, a lot of people have a lot of criticisms with his movies.
I liked
how
that first one you said. I already forgot what it was.
Inception.
Yeah, Inception was good.
Yeah.
Interstellar was a hot pile of steam and garbage.
I loved Interstellar.
I called every single thing that happened in that movie about 3 hours before it happened. And I had time to call it that early, because that's how fucking long that movie is.
It's a long movie. I really liked it, but
it was boring
from
start to finish.
A lot of...
I saw it all coming. It was awful. Okay.
The biggest criticism of Christopher Nolan is that there's too much dialogue, or there's too much expositionary dialogue. He over-explains a lot of stuff.
I get why he would feel he needs to do that.
Yeah, but with Dunkirk, it's his most mature movie, I think, because it's very short. It's the shortest movie that he's made. It's only like an hour.
You don't have to explain a whole lot. What's going on there.
Hour and 40 minutes. And the whole movie's just visual. Like, everything is told in visuals. And it's the first time he's done that, telling a story through just visual storytelling, and he does a great job of it. And it's something that I wasn't expecting, to be honest, but the whole movie is supposed to be he talked about is more about the psychological side of warfare as opposed to the gruesome, bloody, gory, gritty side of warfare, and it does a great job. And to the point where there's music playing throughout the entire movie. The whole movie, there's this tense music, and there's a clock ticking, and there's war sounds, and the very last shot of the movie is absolute silence. And it's weird, like, how much it hits you, and, like, how eerie just that few seconds of silence is after going through an hour and a half of nothing but tense noises and anxiety.
Jesus.
But I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching it. It's great. I think it's my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, to be honest. Nice. All right, number four. Number four is Baby Driver.
Oh, I wanted to see that movie, and I never got to.
Really?
Yeah.
This podcast has me watching a lot more movies.
Wait a minute.
Did you skip one?
Uh-oh.
No, I'm trying to remember what number 3 was.
Oh, you done goofed.
Oh, I remember. Okay, anyways, Baby Driver. I love Edgar Wright. End of story.
All right.
That's
I love anything Edgar Wright does is just fantastic in my opinion. This movie was great. The way he synchronized the film to music was fantastic. The story's not too original, but I had a lot of fun watching it because it's very stylistic. And Jamie Foxx is a wonderful actor when he tries.
When he tries.
When he tries. There's some movies where he's just kind of phoning it in, but then you have movies like Django Unchained and Baby Driver where he's actually putting on a performance, and it's just wonderful.
Maybe it's just when he feels like the role deserves some extra.
Yeah, and I know in Baby Driver his character is supposed to be kind of crazy, and he really sells it. Like, he's always got this kind of crazed, deranged look in his eyes, and it's wonderful. All right, Baby Driver's great. Number 3, Logan. Because of course it is.
I haven't
Because
seen
Logan
this one
fucking kicked
either.
ass.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this one either. I meant to.
We're so bad at this.
Oh, it's
This
fantastic.
was before we started doing the podcast.
And felt
It's fine.
This
obligated.
was like
to
literally
actually
the
watch
first couple
movies.
months of the year.
This was also before I had a movie pass.
Me too.
And so.
I bought mine today.
You did?
Oh.
Welcome to the family.
I needed to wait where it was in between bills, so
But Logan just hit all the fun spots for me. There's gore, there's bloody Wolverine. It's all I've ever wanted out of a Wolverine movie is just bloody violence. And I got that and much more. And so I'm very happy with Logan. Number 2. Trainspotting 2.
Oh, I still haven't seen the first one.
First one is one of my favorite movies.
I've been told I need to see
And
the first one.
Trainspotting 2 was wonderful for being a 20-year-old sequel. Trainspotting 2 does the 20-year-old sequel right. Whereas let's think about Dumb and Dumber 2 was one that really kind of cashed in on the nostalgia factor. And there's a few others as well that I believe did the same thing. Trainspotting 2 does that, but in a very sentimental way.
Mm-hmm.
It uses it instead. It doesn't use it to hit all the right familiar story beats. Like, hey, remember this? It does it to tell a movie about growing up and not getting yourself stuck in the past. Like, I know there's one scene where the two main characters are told that you're so in love with the past that you can't seem to get out of it, or so and so like that. That's the whole movie's about that, basically, about not romanticizing your. And there's another quote that's you're a tourist stuck in your own youth. Whereas the whole movie's basically just, don't get yourself stuck in the past. You just have to move and progress. And
Yeah.
it was a great movie because it utilized it did hit all the nostalgic beats and did really do callback to the first film, but it did it very subtly, and it did it in a way that was like the characters like, hey, remember when we did this? It's like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that, but done in a very
more better way,
resounding way that actually like sticks with you. Like if you were to look back 20 years later and be like, this was some bullshit that we did, and it wasn't for the best, but I loved it. Number 1.
Number one.
Number 1 movie of the year.
Oh snap! Here comes number 1 movie.
My number 1 movie of the year, and I think best movie of the year, Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know
love
why I
this
didn't see
movie.
that one coming.
I know, right?
This was the best movie I've ever seen.
You're one of the 4 people that like that movie,
I love this movie.
and I think it totally deserves to have but
It's perfect, man. I know we talk a lot about all the movies we talk about how beautifully shot they are and how beautiful to look at.
no,
Blade Runner 2049 is the star on top of the
Christmas
cinematic
tree.
Christmas tree. Every single shot in this movie could be framed and put in a museum. It is absolutely beautiful. The story is great. It really expands on the universe in a very rewarding way, in a very exciting way.
Mm-hmm.
The acting is fantastic. The story is fantastic. Everything about this movie is fantastic. The music's fantastic. This is one of those movies where this is one of the only one movie that Harrison Ford actually tries. Harrison Ford actually does a performance. And it literally, like, it hit my soul hard.
I watched an interview that he did about that movie, and it was hilarious because Harrison Ford's such a bitter old man.
I love it because I think I saw the same interview.
Probably because I know
where they were
it.
like, where they asked them what they told him to, when they brought up the idea of a sequel. Harrison Ford said, "I said, show me the money."
You should take note of that and then share that to the Facebook page. That interview.
But it really is like the very last shot of the movie is the best acting Harrison Ford's ever done, and it's not even it's just facial expressions, it's emotion.
I mean, it's even better than the Crystal Skull.
Nothing. I mean, everything.
I just now started watching Indiana Jones movies.
We were talking about it before we started recording the
We
podcast.
really were, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my God.
like the first 30 minutes of him being here, we were talking about Indiana Jones
I
movies.
finally watched the first one.
But
We'll get back to that.
yeah, the last shot of the movie is just there's so many. It's on Harrison Ford. I'm not going to say what happens, but there's so many emotions that he portrays in such a short amount of time, and it hits your soul so hard, and it's fantastic. It's one of those movies that when it was over, I was sitting in my car for like 10 minutes contemplating what I had just watched.
That's why I didn't do so good. Is because the general public doesn't like to think.
You don't like to think, but it's like my favorite movies are the ones that like fuck me up emotionally and like really make me have to stop and just think about it for a little while. And this was one of those movies.
I kind of felt that way after Nightcrawler, but for a completely different reason.
Yeah, I understand.
Man, have you seen Nightcrawler?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, we gotta watch that movie.
But
That movie will mess you up.
that was, and even after I saw it, this was in October. After I saw it and got home, I said, "There's no way any other movie I'm going to see this year is going to beat this movie. This is the movie of the year." Thanks, Denis Villeneuve. He's the director.
I assumed as much.
Yeah, I figured.
This is one of the things too, is because when they announced this movie, Ridley Scott was supposed to direct, and I'm so fucking glad he didn't, because we would have not have got the masterpiece of art that we got with Blade Runner 2049 if Ridley Scott directed it.
Speaking of Ridley Scott, we all need to go see All the Money in the World.
We do.
Starring not Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey was in Baby Driver.
Oh well.
It's funny because I saw this image. There's a scene in the
When he says that, I'm like, is it really gonna be funny?
It's really not. But there's a scene in Baby Driver where Doc, who's Kevin Spacey's character, is talking about that's her first time he met Baby, which is Ansel Elgort. And there's a line where he said, "I didn't do anything to stop him because I was just blinded by the balls on that kid." After the accusations came out, someone posted the screenshot with that subtitle on Instagram, and I just went, "Oh no!
Oh my god!
What an inconvenient turn of events!"
Oh no!
God.
Well, that's a great note to end this podcast on, isn't
Oh
it?
my god!
Come back next time.
I think we've mentioned Kevin Spacey in every single podcast.
Man,
at
we've
this
mentioned
point.
Kevin Spacey much more than we should have.
Well,
Probably.
but it's because of All the Money in the World, really.
Yeah.
I really do want- I
Which
really
I'm
wanna see that
very
movie.
excited about.
Yeah.
And
If I could have seen 3 movies after work yesterday, I would have seen that one too.
I'll
but-
say this: if Ridley Scott had the time to recast Kevin Spacey, he absolutely could have had the extra time to recast Mark Wahlberg as well.
that's true. I've heard posts about that. Well, it's like a lot of people have actually started saying that because Mark Wahlberg does not have the greatest history.
Which, from what I understand,
he done some stuff.
I do know there was the time he attacked this Vietnamese dude. But from what I've heard, I don't know if this was from him or from just general. Apparently, he did years later track that guy down and apologize and did some things for him that were nice. I'm not entirely sure.
People can change.
But I mean,
suppose.
I don't mind Mark Wahlberg. I'm just
Sick of him?
not really sick of him. They're just
Sick of the movies he's in?
No,
Like
depends on the
Transformers.
movies. Fuck Transformers. Depends on the movies he's
Daddy's
in.
Home.
Like, there's only a few movies I like him in. I like Boogie Nights. I liked him in The Departed, and I like him in The Other Guys, and I think that's it. I've not really seen anything else I like
I've
him
not
in.
seen any of those. I was watching The Departed with my uncle back when that movie like came out, and I was watching it, and then I fell asleep, and I woke up at the very end when everyone was killed, and I'm like, I've missed some very important plot
It's funny because
information in
me
this
and
movie.
Jacob watched that movie, but we didn't really watch it. It was just on TV. We were just kind of half paying attention, and then when it got to the ending, we were both just like, "What?"
Yeah.
Well,
Because it's so great, it's so sudden, so weird. Everyone dies.
I think I saw...
The movie's been out for like 10 years now.
How many movies on his list had you seen?
Huh?
I saw The Last Jedi,
Yeah, I think that's it.
and I saw... There was another one.
On your top 10 list, I think I saw The Last Jedi was the only movie.
There was
Really?
another one on that list. No, I don't remember.
Oh, well.
It the Clown.
I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
yeah, it. Yeah, that was
I
one
haven't
I've
seen. I think literally
But
the only
anyways,
one I've seen is The Last
We're going to
Jedi.
have to wrap it up here in a
Which
second.
I went through the entire year and kind of wrote down all the movies I had seen. And then we're like, all right, which one's top 10 material? I know in one podcast I said Power Rangers would have probably made top 5, but that was after I went through and like looked at all the movies I had seen.
Oh, I wouldn't have put that in the top.
And then was like, I love Power Rangers, but I like, these movies better.
I could picture William setting up like a playoffs chart of movies and like breaking
Just
it
brackets.
down.
Yeah.
Brackets.
That's not a fair way to do that, though.
And you have to do it each time to get like first and then second and then third.
The best thing about going through, because Wikipedia has that whole where it shows you all the movies released that year. The whole fun part was scrolling through and being like, man, there's a lot of shit that came out this year. All these movies are awful.
But yeah, all right, we gotta wrap it up soon. Anyone
Wrap it up. Like Chris.
Anybody got anything to add to this?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Watch The Greatest Showman. Do it.
Watch Jumanji too.
Yeah,
It's enjoyable.
Welcome to the Jungle.
We got fun and games.
That's the name of the movie. They do play that song.
I was gonna do they even play the song?
In the credits.
Why didn't they just call it Jumanji again?
They should have called it boom, 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 boom.
Jumanji, intense drumming.
Oh my God.
Jumanji, starring The Rock. That's all they needed.
Dude, that was a killer cast.
The Rock hijacks another franchise.
They did so good.
You hear about that? Like the whole thing with they were working on making a Fast and Furious spinoff with The Rock and Jason Statham's characters, but Vin Diesel got pissed off about it and stopped it from happening. And then Tyrese Gibson started making a big deal out of it because they were afraid that The Rock was becoming The Rock's character was becoming more popular than them, and that they didn't want him hijacking the franchise because that's the only way they get paid, because that's the only movie franchises they're all in.
What can I say? The Rock's is very charismatic.
Rock
fun.
the Dwayne Johnson is a
it's
national
Rock
treasure.
the Dwayne Johnson.
Yes.
It's really funny though because in Jumanji,
Can you smell what the Dwayne is cooking?
It's probably 15 pizzas on one of his high protein cheat days.
But he plays.
Those are my favorite
He plays a
pictures in the
really
world.
insecure character in Jumanji, and it's really interesting seeing him do that. It's very
That's
odd.
good.
But I think that's about it. We could probably talk a lot more, but then I'd have to edit it all out anyways.
Probably still
Because
gonna have to do that.
No, we're good.
We good?
Yeah,
Sweet.
I can keep most of it in. But yeah, that's it. I guess everyone say bye. Well, no, before we do that, let's sign off.
Shortest podcast.
No, not really. Yeah, maybe, but
Remember, guys, if
this
you
stuff.
have any comments, queries, complaints, any of the fun stuff, or if you even want to send us your own top 10 movies of 2017.
yeah, that'd be cool. If we
That'd be really cool to hear what movies you guys like.
We can look
Number
at
one, Transformers: The Last Night. Fuck
We
off.
me and Lori can look at another top 10 list and be like, yeah, I haven't seen these movies either.
Yeah, you can give us more movies we've probably never heard of and haven't seen. But send us that. Send us what if you've seen Jumanji or The Last Showman, if you've seen The Disaster Artist or The Room, or pretty much anything. Or even if you're a Doctor Who fan and want to weigh in
Yeah, I would
on the
appreciate some
finale,
Doctor Who
on
info.
Moffat's writing, on Jodie being the new Doctor, we'll take any and all opinions. It's fine.
Do you want to say something more?
I actually cannot wait for us to do the Transformers commentary, because when we get to the last
Oh.
night, it will be the first time I see that movie.
of them?
Yes, we're doing every
We're
single
gonna
one of
Shia
them.
LaBeouf this bad
I
boy.
regret this decision so much.
And it'll be great because the podcast listeners will be able to hear my first opinions of Transformers: The Last Night as we're watching it for
I'm
the first
honest to
time.
God just excited that I get to hear your Transformers
Because I have not
opinions.
seen it yet, and I refused to watch it. But for the sake of the podcast, I will watch it.
Okay, that's
But
good.
you
But yeah.
can always send us the
I
email.
get
of
to
course.
listen to me live watching the biggest piece of shit on the planet.
You can send us an email at nerdlykingdom@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at _nerddom. Or you can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thenerdlykingdom. We also now have a Tumblr, which I think is Nerdly
An
Kingdom.
Instagram too, don't we?
We do have an Instagram.
I meant to post to our Instagram because I had both my tickets to my movies and 2 5-hour energies, but I forgot my phone in my car, and I was like, I ain't walking back out in the 10-degree weather.
I took a picture of the Greatest Showman, like, cardboard stand-up, and then I went to post it. My phone's like, oh yeah, that picture you took, I didn't save it.
We should post this very aesthetic picture of
what
my
is our
Christmas presents.
Instagram? Our Instagram is the Nerdly Kingdom because I wanted to keep it the same as our Facebook.
That's good.
But yeah, send us stuff on there. While William doesn't have social media, you can very well talk about how much you love Transformers, and I will show him every single post.
Write me messages in the sky.
Hire a skywriter to just follow William around.
If you need to talk to William, roll a 4 or an 8. Or is it a 5 or an 8? One or the other.
Yeah, don't mess it
Really,
up.
the very aesthetic photograph of my Christmas presents. We can post that on the Instagram.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want,
To
man.
show how
You can be in
pretentious I
charge
am.
of the Instagram. It's
Guys,
the only...
look at my Vampire
You
Weekend
can
records.
But yeah, contact us because
Yep.
we're lonely and want conversations.
I'm not lonely.
And
Leave me
remember-
alone.
If you liked what you heard, like, subscribe, rate, review, whatever is relevant to the thing you are watching this
Take
in.
it out for a nice dinner and forget to call it.
Yeah, do that too.
Let it watch a nice Netflix movie.
Or just share it with your friends because after the nice dinner, it's fine. Whatever you're into, it's fine.
Share it with
Netflix and chill
strangers.
with it until they say, hey, let's watch this show, House of Cards. Kevin Spacey's great.
And you have to be like, no, man, I can't watch that.
But then watch the new season because the lady's gonna be the main person.
But yeah, seriously, tell your friends. It helps us. We need that growth. We appreciate it.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your cats.
Tell your friends in other countries, apparently. We're international now, bitches. It's so weird. I
Oh
love
my
it.
god.
But anyways,
We
all right.
overseas
Yep.
now.
Everyone say bye.
Bye everyone.
Joseph, say
Bye.
bye. Bye, everybody. Happy Merry Christmas. New Year. Happy New Year.
Man,
Bye.
Joseph, you can't be on this podcast unless you contribute to something that's actually talking about stuff.
F*** off.
I've gotta take my cat to the apartment tomorrow. What are some tips for stress-free travel? I've got 1 hour of calm, relaxing music for scared cats.
Is that really what it's called?
It's called soothing music for scared cats. This will be what I listen to the entirety of the ride to my apartment. I'm gonna turn into Voldemort dust. Bye. That's Odin at the end of Ragnarok when he just becomes one with the Force. Just disappears. Anthony Hopkins plays Methuselah in Noah, so I like to imagine that Odin gets sucked and like disappears and then just goes back in time to biblical time.
No, he got sucked into Jumanji.
What year